everybody, and welcome back to Magic the Gathering Study Hall. We are a Magic the Gathering podcast that's going to talk about anything and everything Magic. Really quick, I want to say, do a little bit of bookkeeping here. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook/TCG University, on YouTube /TCG University, Patreon, that's the big one. That'll get you on the Discord if you give $1 a month, I believe. And that's going to be just at patreon.com/TCG University. And then we have some Patreon sponsors we want to thank. JC?
Yeah, so thank you all the Patreon sponsors. Read out some shout outs here to the Patreon supporters that we already have. Thank you so much, Andrew Dang, Yari Melkor, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, Jerome Weeks Jr., Justin Farst, Tyler Zane Pease, and William Stoll. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
And your name doesn't have to start with J to watch this show. Anybody can be a Patreon. It's just like half of them all start with J. I promise you, you don't, if even you non-J people out there, you are welcome too. So I want to start us out really quick. So I am Brett Killow. I am one of the hosts here. I've been playing Magic for 15-ish years pretty consistently. I am a big Singleton player. I like Brawl. I like Commander. I play Standard on Arena. I like listening and talking about Magic, all sorts of formats.
I'm JC Cleland, and I've been playing Magic. So total time, like start to now, like 20 years. Total time within that, like play time, like 2 years. I'm a very off and on player, so that's kind of where I am.
And I'm Dave. I'm somewhat of a competitive player, at least used to be. Starting to do that a bit more, mostly Magic Online and Arena.
And all right, really quick, before we launch into the topics today, I just want to say I want to check in and see what have we done since the last show. So 2 weeks, in the last 2 weeks, what have we been doing in Magic, and then something outside of Magic. JC.
Oh, so Magic has, I guess it's I can't quit this love affair that I keep coming back to. I have spent an inordinate amount of money trying to catch up on some Throne of Eldraine, also some Core Set 2020. I've played a little bit of Brawl with friends, which is something I haven't done in a long time. And most importantly, I ran through the tutorial and some of the introductory games of Magic Arena, which is a super fun platform. That's my life in Magic, spending some money, getting back into it, grinding a little bit, going to a comic book store and looking at the cards and looking vaguely scared while the shopkeeper looks at me and going like, "Can I help you, ma'am? Like, do you need anything?" So that's been that life. Other than that, I do a couple other podcasts on the side, and I play a bunch of nerdy games. That's kind of my life outside of Magic. So I just have a big #nerd lifestyle. So that's me.
Dave?
Oh, lately I've been playing Standard, as we had the Mythic Championship this last weekend, been looking at various lists, and as usual, Kai Buddy, the German juggernaut, had the coolest list that I saw, Simic Food, so I've been grinding a lot of that on Arena. Aside from that, oddly enough, I've been baking a lot of bread. I'm not even going to give you context to that. I'm just going to let you just picture me just baking loaf after loaf.
I don't want the context.
Like almost an assembly line.
It must be like zucchini bread.
No, just regular, just regular French bread.
I want to figure out why. Don't tell me. I just want to. I want to picture the mystery.
Eat the bread. Obviously, that's the only. It is. There's definitely something zen about kneading dough. And I gotta tell you, the knife that I had after like cutting the wad of dough in half the first time, that should not have felt as good as it did. But I might have gotten excited about using a knife on dough. So there you go.
Okay, you heard it here first. This is the beginning of Dave's serial killing spree. So in 20 years from now, law students, this is it. Come back here. And this is where it all began.
Dave, why do you always play mono black decks? I don't understand.
I need to return some videotapes.
And again, I am Brett. And so in Magic, I've been playing a lot of Brawl. In the last 2 weeks, I've hit 2 small Brawl tournaments at Krypton Comics here in Omaha, which was a blast. I won the first one.
Shout out.
Nice.
which was a blast, and I went 1-3 on the second one. So So, which is
how it goes.
It's how it goes.
You
But
know.
I had a blast. Great group of people there, and it's growing in size, which is a good thing because I love Brawl. Played some Brawl at home with some friends. JC was there. It was a blast. And then playing Arena, the Fires of Invention deck is the most fun thing in the whole world. And then outside of Magic, best new podcast in the world is my friend Chuck with Dr. Chuck Tingle, the erotic author. Everyone needs to listen to it after this one.
Shout out to that podcast.
Yeah, shout out to that podcast with a ton of followers who everybody loves. They're really glad that we here are doing that.
We'll plan a crossover at some point with Dr. Chuck Tingle.
Oh my! You need to.
All
This
right.
is the author of "Pounded in the Butt by My Own Butt." Mature, obviously.
Oh
It's-
yes, the classic text.
yeah.
Obviously.
It is. He's hilarious. He's got a role-playing game. The podcast is a blast. It's two authors of erotic fiction discussing all sorts of weird stuff. It's a hoot. Check it out.
So
We should probably.
just in a good shout out to that. These dang Magic cards have a very tapping way.
It's such a weird thing. I really can't describe it. Probably should start talking about Magic. Okay, so crazy amount of news in the past 2 weeks. So we're gonna start with the ban. And so, Dave, do you want to give us a little background on the banning we just had?
Well, we had one card specifically banned from Standard, and that was Field of the Dead. And Field of the Dead,
Explain why.
honestly, it was a bit oppressive. I don't think that Wizards of the Coast, for their testing, realized exactly how good the card would be. To give you guys an idea as to what it does, Field of the Dead comes into play tapped. It's a land. It taps for one colorless. I think we've gone away from using the phrase wingdings, but I still liked it.
I didn't know we'd started. I missed that whole.
wait, what?
That's a story for another time.
Oh, gosh,
Wingdings.
okay.
Wingdings.
Whenever Field of Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So, that on the surface isn't overly good. However, with all the various different named non-basic lands, like the various gates and the shock lands that are still legal, and the Temple of Mystery and Temple of Malady.
We have-
Malady? One of the two.
Malady. We have
Malady.
five scry lands, 10 shock lands, 10 guild gates, 10 life gain lands. We have a lot of non-basic lands in
Not to
Standard
mention,
right now.
but the point being is there are no shortage of lands with different names, and it was just painfully easy to be able to start churning out your 2/2 tokens in inexhaustible supply, essentially, starting well before turn 7.
4 or 5 maybe. It was fast.
It went very, very quick. It was format warping to the point where when most of the field at the at high level tournaments comprised of the same deck or the same key card, then we definitely know that there's a problem. When other decks have to warp their main deck in order to combat this, also a problem. So Field of the Dead's gone now, and we have what looks like a completely new landscape to Standard, which I've been having a lot of fun with, but honestly, I was having fun even with Field of the Dead. Food's a pretty good.
So
pretty sweet deck.
Fair to say. So yeah, you're having fun in the new metagame. You're also playing Simic Food.
Oh yeah,
which
absolutely.
I think is the new deck. I think it's fair. I mean, well, I guess okay. I haven't played the I guess the ban went into effect today on Arena, so I haven't gone in. I haven't been playing yet. A lot of people are saying so the deck that is now very good because of this ban is the green-blue deck with the new food mechanic from Eldraine, helmed by Oko, the new Planeswalker. And so he costs, you should look him up, Oko, Thief of Crowns. He costs 3 mana. He comes in with 5 loyalty. He's got ability to add...
comes in with 4.
4 loyalty, excuse me. He comes in with 4 loyalty. He has a +2 to make a food token, a +1 to turn a creature into a 3/3 elk.
Creature or artifact.
Or artifact.
Because so you can turn the food into a
You turn your
elk as well.
And then the ultimate, which is not a hard ultimate to get to, exchanges control of a artifact or creature you control with a creature with power 3 or less, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So this card is pushed as hell. It is seeing it just won a vintage tournament.
I have been told that this
Really?
is the best Planeswalker ever printed. I think that's ambitious, but
Top
it is
5.
certainly very, very good.
Top 5, I
very
think.
aggressively costed. The old saying is it has too many words to be bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I am absolutely. I'm on board with that, certainly.
So it is a very pushed card, and I mean I think fair to say format defining. Maybe format warping. we have another potential ban, a point they could ban a card coming up in November. So there's definitely people on Reddit yelling that Oko should be banned. Now, there's always going to be people yelling that something should be banned. So you've been playing the deck. Do you feel like you are winning more than you ought to?
No. But then again, I'm also very arrogant, and I believe I should always be winning. But to give you more of a serious answer is I don't think that Oko is necessarily too good. I don't think that that's the case, at least yet. It doesn't feel that way.
To ask another question on that, do you feel like when you are you losing to a specific strategy or specific deck, or are different kinds of deck beating you? Because that can be an indication of how it's warping as well if there's only one answer.
Well, I really wanted to be a smartass on that and say, well, yeah, the mirror is normally. But in all honesty, the decks that I have lost to, Fires of Invention is certainly a deck that people have been playing, and I'm probably about 50-50 with that matchup so far.
It's one of my favorite matchups. I love getting the Oko matchup with that deck. It feels real good.
It's very favorable for Oko if you get to leave open that D-strike and just D-stroke. Sorry, shoot, I'm drawing a blank on the name. The 1 blue, 1 colorless, counter something that's 4.
Disdainful Stroke.
Disdainful Stroke. That's the ticket. There's too many strikes, things like that. Anyway, I mean, if you get to leave that open for their Fires of Invention,
that feels
very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels great. They waste their turn 4. You spent 2 mana, and you're probably churning out a food with your Gilded Goose, or making another elk, or getting ready to whack them for 4.
Now here's actually another valid question. So you're on Arena. Are you playing best of 1 or best of 3?
I'm playing traditional. I'm playing best of 3.
See, okay.
And a lot of that is, I understand that there are people that really like the best of 1. But it feels like anytime that I'm, queuing up for best of 1, either I'm going to play against Esper Control, which is going to gain all the life and counter all of the spells, or I'm playing against a hyper-aggressive red deck that's just, you know what, if they have life gain, they wanted it more.
Well, we're kind of going off the side a little bit, but I've been playing only best of 1 with my Fires deck, because I'm running Fae of Wishes. Really quick, just so people have context, Fire of Invention, it's a 4-mana red enchantment that says you can only cast spells on your turn, you can only cast 2 spells a turn, but instead of paying the mana cost of your spells, you can cast a spell for free as long as its CMC is less than or equal to the number of lands you control. So
converted mana cost.
Well, yes, converted mana cost. So when you play that on turn 4, you get to play another 4-drop or less spell for free. On turn 5, 2 5-drops. So it's a really good deck. And then if you run Fae of Wishes, that's a card that goes and gets a card from your sideboard for 4 mana. Now, if you're playing best of 1, your sideboard is only there to be what we call a wish board, because the cards that used to get things out of sideboards are called wishes, and why it's called Fae of Wishes. So I've been playing that in best of 1 because I get to have a deck that has 15 more cards than your deck, which feels really good. And so I'm really happy to see that Oko matchup, because I'm not playing any creatures for the first 3 turns, so there's nothing for you to turn into an elk. So, and how do you do against the Esper Stacks deck?
That's the other one. Doom Foretold, that's another one that it feels like it's right down the line. It's another reason why I'd say that Oko's probably not overly oppressive.
Not overly oppressive, because there's multiple answers.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you can certainly play, if you get the turn 2 Oko, if they don't have an answer for the Gilded Goose, then they can potentially slam down the stacks, and then you have to sack Oko.
Yeah.
Like, playing against stacks is just a game to see who runs out of non-land non-token permanents first.
This is a token-heavy set.
It really is.
And as suspect as it sounds, at least a few of the times playing against Doom Foretold, it seems perfectly fine to ultimate your Oko and give them a food token and take their golden egg. Just so they have 1 less permanent and you have 1 more to protect your Oko. I mean, they're just going to kill your Oko anyway, but
yeah,
just them wasting resources trying to keep their Doom Foretold in play, it's usually okay.
And not to get too far from it, but I think the reason that some people like playing more than best of 1 sometimes is you don't get to see your whole deck all the time when you play best of 1. So if you play a lot, you'll see your deck because you're playing a lot. But like if you're more of a sporadic player, maybe you like to play 3 games, that way you get to test your deck a little bit more.
As far as that, I mean, I can certainly see that. My big thing as far as best of 1 goes is you can get unlucky. Like luck is, I mean, I don't think anyone can argue that luck is certainly a big part of the game.
Yeah.
It's not the only factor, and one of the ways that you can mitigate luck is by having these best of 3. I'm not sure if this is still the case for the Mythic Championship. I could probably look it up later.
It's best of 3.
But it's still best of 3.
Oh, yeah.
The top 8.
All of
because
it,
at
whole
one
thing.
point it was best of 5.
Oh, well,
and I don't think it must have been a while since that was, but that used to be the case.
And that's excusing outliers.
yeah. And so, yeah, it was the Mythic Championship, the big tournament. It was the 5th one. It's also confusing. Mythic Championship is now what they're calling the big multiple-year tournaments. We're also now, they used to be called the Pro Tour. We're now calling all former Pro Tours Mythic Championships. So, because I watched the coverage this last weekend.
So it's being retconned?
So it'll be like, this player's played in 56 Mythic Championships. I'm like, there haven't been 56 Mythic Championships, but...
So we're on 5 now.
We're on 5.
It just for your viewers at home, they've always been called Mythic Championships, and we've always been at war with Eurasia.
Also, Nelson Mandela
you're welcome. Yeah.
did die in a prison in the
Oh
90s.
boy! Oh,
All right, anyway, sorry.
we're not bringing up the Bernstein Bears.
Yeah,
I'm putting my foot down.
It's the Berenstain Bears,
Berenstain.
and the Red Hot Chili Peppers had at least one good album. All right, that might have been below the belt. That might have been below the belt.
Californication was good.
Yeah,
Oh boy, we are.
Sure.
Oh, I don't even know
So
where to
JC's
track
from the other universe.
Okay, all right. This is we. Oh boy,
That was a little bit of a.
We're down the
little
rabbit
bit
hole.
of a, yeah.
We're
Detracted a
Shahrazading
bit.
again.
we certainly
Okay.
are.
All right. Really quick. While we're in the middle of things, we're going to do a quick word from our sponsor. Jace, you want to take that for us?
All right, so sponsor is Inked Gaming. If you're looking for a one-stop shop for gaming accessories, I suggest heading on over to inkedgaming.com. Inked Gaming features both custom and store art playmats, dice bags, PC gaming mouse pads, and tons more. Recently, Inked has added a stitched option on playmats and mouse pads to provide even more durability and uniqueness to your game. Play your game with style, inkedgaming.com. Be sure to click the link below and use the code TCGUniversity, all one word, at #JamesSucks.
And I have actually not gotten any Inked Gaming stuff yet. I know people who have, but that stitched playmat option is super great. So basically, people who have had a lot of playmats, after a couple years, you're going to start getting those edges kind of peeling up. I have 2 playmats that have that extra. Basically, it's a whole layer of stitching around the edge. It's going to make your playmats last a ton longer. So if you're looking for playmats, this is a great place to go. Try that stitched thing out, because I can tell you that is excellent. So
yeah, because I want to make a note on playmats too. If you're like a person that works at an office like many of us do with computers and things like that, using playmats as kind of a mouse pad / keyboard pad is actually a really nice, comfortable kind of thing. So with that stitching option at the bottom, the problem with these kind of things is they start to fray at the bottom, and they start to like lose some of the sticky backing at the bottom. So that stitched option actually adds a lot of durability.
Dave, are you on the website?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm looking it up. I'm fairly certain that I saw a Taco Cat on here. Fun little side note for you. Taco Cat is a palindrome. If you don't know what a palindrome is, you're welcome.
You're welcome for homework. I guess that's appropriate. I mean, we're for TCGU.
Well, if we're going to start talking about homework, I guess we can... Oh, yeah, there's a Taco Cat right there.
Taco Cat,
Since
okay.
we're talking about homework anyway, here's a homework assignment for the 3 of us. Let's all come back next week with some sweet Brawl brew so we can discuss that as well.
That's a
now
great
that
idea.
Brawl is available on Arena.
It's on Arena. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to get back to where we were, everybody. Okay. This is actually... transition. This is great. So, JC, we want to get into the new player experience on Arena. But to get into that, have you gotten to the point where you're playing other people? Have you been seeing these Okos, these Fires of Invention, these Doom Foretold Esper stack decks? Have you been running into these, or are you still kind of in the I'm new and I'm playing starter decks against starter deck spot? Like, have you been running into these crazy tuned decks?
No, I'm very much in the I'm new and I'm playing starter decks against starter decks, so I'm playing against other people who are like, yeah, I've been playing this game for 15 hours.
Well, that seems like a good sign. So I guess, yeah, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. That seems like a good sign if you didn't come and say, yeah, I started Arena and I've been playing against Oko Thief of Crowns and I hate this game. So what has it been like? What has been being a new player in Arena been like?
So I have nothing but good things to say about being a new player in Arena. Because I played the former Magic Online product, and I won't bash it in any way, but it felt not great in some places.
It feels like it's from 1995,
It does,
which it
a little
is,
bit.
but it feels like nothing has changed
Well-
since 1990, or maybe what, or late 90s, early 2000s.
Invasion block, but that's splitting hairs. It's definitely not user friendly. That's
Yeah.
there's despite their best efforts with version 4, there's it for those that have been using it for a while. I mean, it grows on you, but
Like a tumor.
that is not a selling point for people that are entry level. That's not a selling point for people
Right.
like JC. Like, look at this UI, it's garbage.
Yeah.
You should play this a whole bunch. Well, that's not going to work. Whereas Arena, hey, look, when you play something really cool, then an animation happens, and that's something to draw on the new player, and then eventually, they don't care that much about that.
Yeah,
I still
like
that
it,
giant
yeah.
hand coming
Oh.
across and ripping it. That is freaking cool.
Whatever the heck the questing beast is, it's
Oh.
3 heads just flying around.
That's my baby boy. I love him.
Nightmare
oh gosh.
fuel.
We'll get into
But-
that later. Sorry. Go ahead.
No,
JC.
no. So things I'll say about it, it does have really snappy, smooth graphics. It doesn't feel choppy. It doesn't feel unintuitive. I will say the whole introduction storyline that you go through. So for new players and returning players, it's actually really nice to introduce you to mechanics of the game and phases of the game. Because you have this like little helper, Sparky, I believe is her name.
An animated planeswalker Spark.
Animated planes who's adorable, and apparently you abuse later and something like that.
Probably.
And
Well,
That
you
sounds
end up,
about right.
I
I mean-
haven't played it for a while, but I think you play against Sparky and eventually you just like beat the crap out of her. I'm not sure.
yeah. So that being said, the animated tour guide will point out things and also just give you general strategy and advice, like he's on the ropes, push him, like that kind of thing.
We talked about this a little bit pre-show. She's got some kind of accent. We're not sure.
It's vaguely British, Australian,
Definitely a
Dominarian.
Ravnica one. Yeah,
I was
it's gotta
gonna,
be-
I was
it's
gonna like,
gotta
is
be
that
Ravnica accent.
Dominarian? It was gonna.
So,
Go get her.
I don't know what it, but no, it's a nice little intro. They've changed it a bunch. I was playing in the pre-public beta. I've been like I was like watching people stream the private alpha. Like I've been waiting on the edge of my seat for this game because I played some Magic online and it's
So-
expensive and complicated
Yeah,
and
it's,
not. I mean,
it's very friendly about introducing you to new phases. It'll walk you through, when to attack and when to respond to attacks, and when you can play an enhancement on a certain thing during certain phases. So it's very friendly in that way. It gives you cards to start off with, so it does give you that kind of Skinner box kind of thing, like, oh, I'm doing well, I get a reward. So
Tap that
it's
pigeon chemical.
It's very good about tapping the like I get food pellet thing. Also, it rewards you for actually buying decks because I think I don't know if there's other decks aside from the Planeswalker decks, but like they give you a code and then you get those cards in game.
well, for the pre-release, for those of you that did the pre-release for the previous set, there was a code in the pre-release kit that gave you 6 packs online.
it said 1, but it gave you 6.
Huh.
A bunch of them. Mine said 1.
alright.
It said redeem this code for 1 pack, and then I'm like grumble, 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 and then I punch it in like here's 6 packs. It's like.
Yeah.
If you've got to play mind games with me, Wizards, this is the direction to do it in. But so it sounds like there's definitely plenty of starter decks, but you're still getting the opportunity to play other people with the starter decks with it. So they
Exactly.
aren't dumping you into the deep end.
And that's the thing too. They won't immediately dump you into the deep end. You will start to play against players who are about on your level. And so it's nice not just for new players, but like returning players, because returning is very much like, say you were returning to a job you did like 6 years ago. And like it's like, I still know how to do that, but like, yeah, it's nice if you walk me through it a little bit.
I mean, if you haven't played for 3 years, every single card you're playing with is a new card.
Yeah.
So it's nice that you can go like, hey, I'm going to get into Arena, and they give you some stuff. And do they do like the mastery thing where like you like unlock little steps in like the chain? Okay, because they do it with the mastery pass. You can unlock little orbs that unlock card styles, which it's that Skinner box thing, but that's a lot of the game. I'm not here to judge making my brain make good chemicals. That's what I'm here for.
Right.
Seriously,
Opening
that's
up
the whole
a pack
point.
and getting a shiny card.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
It's very a chemical thing.
As far as and quick side tangent for everybody, for those of you that have been playing Arena and you haven't picked up the Mastery Pass and you play a lot, do yourself a favor, pick it up. it's just a lot of free value. You know, WotC obviously is going with the freemium model where, you know, if you want to play for free, you can totally do that. If you want the good stuff, you got to pay up.
And it's not that expensive.
No, not really.
10, 15 or something?
Yeah.
For the Mastery Pass?
Yeah. I don't know how much this one cost because I had extra gems lying around, and I just bought this one off of my last winnings, which was really nice.
Yeah.
I just stopped spending gems before Eldraine came out, and then I'm like, oh, I can buy the Mastery Pass.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to note too. So this game is free to start off with, and you get cards for free to start off with. Now, I like that they built it out so you can spend as much money as you want to play this game.
And I normally, when a set comes out, I'll spend probably $50, get the little deal. But like, that might seem like a lot for a free game, but at the same time, I play a lot of hours of Magic, and so like I buy the Mastery Pass, I buy 50 packs, and then I just play. I play a couple, like maybe 3 times a week, and you can get all the experience you need for the Mastery Pass, and there's quests every day, and there's lots of bars and meters to watch go up, and they're adding new stuff. Brawl comes out today.
Yep.
Brawl is out right now.
Exciting.
It is currently out. For those of you that would like to know, there's an entry fee of 100 gold or 200 gems, and the prizes are just card styles so far.
But
they might change that later.
Normally, when in events, if you lose a certain amount, you're out. Is this one once you buy in, you just got to keep playing? Because that's what I thought I read, but I haven't gone home and booted it up yet.
I didn't notice that part. I'm assuming that's probably the case, but I could very easily be wrong.
I think it's, you pay in and then you can just keep playing it. The event's going to end. Now, they're only letting Brawl happen on Wednesdays. Brawl, so there's going to be an event for a few days, and then it's going to be Wednesday Brawl. Now, I'm not thrilled by this. Like,
it gives them a chance to fix it, though.
And
they're rolling out a new thing. They're scared.
And I guess the fear is if there's not, they don't want bad queue times, and also if the format has issues, which I've heard people have been calling for maybe an Oko standard ban, but people are also saying Oko's a pretty big powerhouse in Brawl. I have not played a single 1v1 Brawl game against Oko yet. I dodged him at the last tournament by being bad. Oko won. So again, I don't have an opinion yet. Believe me, next time I'm sure I will. But last time they got burned on Brawl by not banning fast enough. So like maybe they don't want us to have it all the time. Maybe they want to make sure the queue is good, or maybe they just want to drip feed us the stuff. I'm hoping Wizards, I know you're watching because we're a big deal here.
Big deal.
Give me Brawl all the time, please. I promise I'll keep spending money. I promise I'll keep playing Standard, but Brawl's my jam, and I don't want it to just be Wednesdays.
Look at it like this. Cube drafts are a thing that everybody likes. Everybody loves doing cube drafts. For those of you that don't know what a cube draft is, the short version is it's not actually a limited set that you're drafting. You're drafting a whole bunch of really broken, awesome, powerful cards, or sometimes just absolute turds, depending on the cube. Now, the reason why that's not up all the time is because people will absolutely get burnt out on it. You know, keeping it a special thing that only happens every now and again keeps it special and keeps people looking forward to something. You know, if they're doing Brawl on Wednesdays, you know, that kind of sucks. I work Wednesdays, so I'm probably not going to be able to partake. Yeah. But other people get to go, oh man, it's Tuesday. You know what that means? Tomorrow's Brawl.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want Brawl to succeed. I know Wizards does too, and like, it's possible that some random guy maybe doesn't understand everything. I'd like it accessible more, and maybe and Wednesdays is tricky because, like you said, I think there's going to be people who get locked out, and like as a new player, that's a really nice format to go into because you open one Oko, you open one cool card, and you're like, I can slap together a Brawl deck with a bunch of with my starter cards and a few rares that I've been opening. So that's a little bit easier to get into Brawl, and I think it's easier if you want to brew a new standard deck. You've got to have some wild cards. You want to brew a new Brawl deck. Well, if you've been drafting, if you've been playing the events, you probably have most of it. So,
and a quick note on Brawl too. So they started putting out these Brawl decks.
They
are so good for just a thing you buy for $20.
So yeah, so there's been a little bit of a supply issue, but this was back in the store today. So this was at Target as of
today,
as of the date that it is.
The 24th.
The 24th of October. So they're back. The $20.99. They're jam-packed with value. When we were playing Brawl multiplayer last week, you just were playing one straight out the one that I bought.
Straight out of the box. It's a fairly
and having fun.
Deck.
I'm hoping, again, Wizards, you're paying a lot of attention to us. I'd love to see that same Planeswalker deck code with this. When you buy this, you get it. Get an arena. That would be great. But I mean, I think everyone's saying that.
Well, I'd definitely be a big fan if they decide to take a page out of the Pokemon TCG's book and just start throwing in codes with the booster pack. Hey, you bought a real life booster pack. How about an online one? Unlikely that they would do that.
No,
because,
I don't.
Well,
that messes
up their freemium model.
A quick aside about tournaments and Pokemon real quick. Every time someone mentions like a great professional tournament, I remember that Topanga from Boy Meets World was apparently a competitive Pokemon player and really pretty good.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
We'll have to look up that actress's name later, but I think if you said the actress's name, everyone, who's that? Topanga. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's great.
Um,
So I have not been playing at my store a lot, which Brawl has got me back doing. Because I love me some Singleton. And so when I won, I got one of those new little fancy promo packs.
oh,
And
right.
it had the F&M card. It had two rares or mythics. And it had an arena code for a free pack, which it was just one, which that felt really good, Wizards.
That feels good.
Maybe not every pack, but like if maybe every 8th pack had a code, that's another one of those pigeon chemicals, Wizards. I promise you. I know you don't want me to get a pack every time I buy a booster box and get 36 packs because I probably won't buy on Arena, but like you could sprinkle them in.
But it's also cross promotion for your other products, though. Like if you give those kind of codes, not only do you kind of support the people who get to play how they want to play, you also encourage people like, well, I have all these codes for this thing. I'm going to go try out this thing, and then you make more money.
Might as well. Yeah. Okay. Well, so let's move on. We've talked a lot about Arena. So non-Arena related news. We had another. It's been a crazy couple weeks of announcements. Pioneer. Dave, you want to take it away again?
So, WotC has decided that they would like to have another non-rotating format. Now, they've said that this is not to be replacing Modern, which, oddly enough, when they released Modern, they said this is not to be replacing Legacy. That, neither here nor there. But what Pioneer is going to be is a non-rotating format similar to Modern, but the starting point will be Return to Ravnica moving forward. The ban list is currently just the 5 fetch lands that were reprinted in
Khans of
Tarkir.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't know, that would be Flooded Strand, Polluted Delta. Honestly, I was just going to say the rest are just garbage because they don't have blue in them.
Bloodstained Mire.
Bloodstained Mire, Wooded Foothills, I believe.
That sounds right.
Sounds right.
Sounds right. And Bloodstained Mire, Wooded Foothills.
Khans of Tarkir.
And Kevin, I'm pretty sure the 5th one's name is Kevin.
Windswept Heath.
Yes.
I believe it's
Right,
Windswept
that or Kevin.
Or Kevin.
was a
God,
John
I
Nathan
will
there.
I will pay you good money if you write that on a deck list when you inevitably register some Modern list with that. Anyway, that is currently the banned list. I believe we all know that other cards will be banned because it is only a matter of time before somebody breaks this format in half. And I, for one, am excited for our new Cat Overlords.
Yeah, it's Copycat, which, so again, Dave and I we were talking pre-show.
Explain.
Which there was, so the way you're gonna get a really good deck is you're gonna look back in the past standard formats and you're gonna see what got banned. And so there was a deck in Kaladesh because that set was a mess.
This, JC, you weren't playing at this time.
I
To let you
wasn't.
know, this combo is a turn 4 combo
Boo.
that was in the same block.
and the best part is it was a mistake. They didn't mean
they
to do
didn't
it.
even see it. All the testing they didn't even see this turn 4 win.
So once again, as last podcast, hashtag beta testing with the whole community.
Yeah, which I want to get into in a second. But yeah, so Saheeli Rai, 3-mana planeswalker, she has a lot of text. The relevant text is she can minus, is it her minus?
It's a minus.
2. Minus a number.
I'm not sure what the number is.
It's
honestly.
minus a number.
I did not play any. I played against Copycat, and it was normally, all right, you have Saheeli, you have the cat, I'm dead.
Is it just Saheeli Rai or is it Saheeli Gifted Artificer? There's like
It's
4.
Saheeli Rai.
Saheeli Rai. So
Saheeli Rai.
you can look it up because we're a hot mess. And so she
Actually.
could minus, I believe, and she could remove a permanent from play and just flicker it. So exile and put it back into play, right?
Right.
Or is there more to it than that?
It makes a copy of it.
That's right.
Makes
It
a
doesn't
copy.
bounce. It makes a
Yep.
copy.
Makes a copy
that
of
you
a
sack at
creature
end of turn.
artifact that you sack at the end of turn that has haste. So, the way that the combo works is you have your Saheeli in play. You play your Felidar Sovereign,
Which is a
4-mana, 1/4.
1/4. It's a 4-mana
God, we are
1/4.
maths, aren't we? It is a 4-mana 1/4 that when it comes into play, you exile permanent that you control. I believe it's that you control.
Yeah, you control and return it to play under its own control.
Yeah,
It was
immediately.
And so yeah, and that's the flicker I was thinking of.
Yep. So you play your cat, you flicker your Saheeli, you minus your Saheeli, you make another cat to flicker your Saheeli, to make another cat to flicker your Saheeli, and then your opponent just gets angrier and angrier until you decide to attack him for 4 billion or some arbitrary number because Why wouldn't you?
And in Magic, this is a fun one. In paper Magic, you can establish a loop like this loop we just explained. You can then, as long as your opponent has opportunity to respond, but if they don't, you can then specify a number. It has to be a real number of times that you do this. But because of the shortcuts, you can say, I'm going to do this loop 20 billion times. And now you have 20 billion 1/4s with haste. And now the problem with this is this 1/4 for 4 was a limited common. It was supposed to be
Uncommon.
It was supposed to just be something that maybe you played to get some extra value out of a creature.
Right. It's not a rare. It was not special.
And they did not mean for it to do this. Like, so there was plenty of there's a lot of enter the battlefield creatures. You can get some energy. It was supposed to just be, oh, maybe I'll take this in a draft 6th pick. And they didn't mean for it to take over the whole thing. And it had to get banned. They had to ban an uncommon 1/4 for 4.
So, question about that though: with the new format, why don't they carry the ban list from standard forward to that new? And I know that there's a lot more sets, so it could interact a lot differently, that kind of thing. But like, it seems maybe in bad form to not at least carry some of the bans forward, rather than just let it all kind of be wild.
So that's a good question. I don't think we have an official answer yet, but what I've said in the past, specifically for things like Modern and the potential overextended, which we may talk about at some point, but it is the idea of unban everything and God knows his own.
Because when Modern came out, there was a huge ban list.
There was a ban list, and it was mostly speculative. Like, a lot of those cards have come off of the ban list since.
And it was fine.
Mystic being the most recent.
Stoneforge Mystic.
Jace the Mind Sculptor being another that's come off of the initial ban list.
Have we mentioned that evil Nahiri is so pretty?
Nahiri is pretty cool, mainly because she's just fueled completely by anger.
Nahiri did nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong.
Nahiri, you heard it here first, folks. Nahiri did nothing wrong.
If Nahiri is so cool, how come she got jammed in the Hell Vault? Anyway.
I'm sorry, Dave, if I came over to your house and asked for you to help mow my lawn, and I would not expect you to banish me into a demon prison for 1,000 years, so I wouldn't go there.
True.
Nahiri did nothing wrong.
If you came into my house and you were yelling at me to do so, I might be inclined to jam you into the Hell Vault.
Have I never not yelled ever in you knowing me?
Fair.
Fair.
But we digress. The
oh boy,
the ban list. I believe that WotC's intent for this is they know that the fetch lands are going to be good. They know that the fetch lands are going to cause a format that no one's really going to want to play and be kind of a mess. So I think that their strategy is, you know what? Let's see what happens. These fetch lands are not a thing. You don't get to play them in this format as of right now. They can always unban it later.
I don't expect that. And I think this is also them sending a message saying, standard people, we're going back to Zendikar. We are not going to reprint them.
Yeah, I think that's probably a big part of it, too. I agree. WotC just doesn't want to hear for the next 5 years, oh, we have one cycle of the fetch lands. Just wait for them to print the other. They're not going to do it. Don't stop it.
We're going to just get 4 color. That's the thing. If we have fetch lands, it's just small Modern. If we have to live in a world with a totally different... I think mana bases generally kind of define a format. Legacy, you have the original dual lands. Modern, you have fetch lands. If Pioneer had the fetch lands and is the same mana base as Modern, it's not a distinct format. I really like that they banned the fetches. I want them to reprint fetches because they're expensive and lands should not cost $100, but maybe Standard's not the place to put them. They slow down tournaments, they make mana bases homogenous, and when they're coupled with the shock lands, fetch lands, pay 1, tap, sacrifice, and they're 2-color. You got to so basically there's 10 2-color pairs that exist. You get to go get a land of one of 2 basic land types. So the red-blue one, you can tap and sacrifice, pay a life, and go get a plains or an island. Now, it doesn't say basic plains or island, so you can go get a shock land, which has both, all the 10 shock lands have 2 basic land types. So you can go spend one land and go get a land that taps for 1 different color and 1 same color. And it makes mana bases wildly homogenous.
Is it pretty standard for most fetches? So like Terramorphic Expanse, does that say basic land or does that just say land? Okay.
Most fetches...
And while we're at it, Fabled Passage, the new fetch land, also specifies basic.
Because lands aren't... The whole point of lands is no land is supposed to be better than the basic lands. Right. Now, the fetch lands obviously have a life drawback, but...
but there are lands that are better than the basic lands.
Yes and no. If Wasteland's in the format, then a lot of the times you'd rather have a basic over the dual, unless you know your opponent's not on Wasteland.
It's
Or you don't
that's
care about
fair.
the
and
Wasteland.
there's reasons to play basics, and we're getting into some
The
broad
weeds.
subjects, but I think it's a good thing that they are banned. I'm excited this format exists now because I have to. I kind of want to bring it back to Arena. I saw a great idea on Reddit. So last podcast we talked about Historic is the new non-rotating format for Arena. How are they adding new cards to it? And somebody on Reddit was like, and they straight up said, we are not planning for Pioneer to be on Magic Arena, which I get. It's like, it's like 15 plus, maybe more sets they'd have to add in. It's a lot, which that's a lot of.
They already have the Kaladesh sets, and they already have the Zendikar sets.
Right.
True, but I mean, 10 sets, and then also I'm a player on Arena, and you dump another 250, 60 some cards every. Like, we're already doing that four times a year.
You could just format lock them though.
Well, so we had this discussion last time about beta testing this new format and how we don't want to just maybe jam Brainstorm and all these crazy cards in. Somebody on Reddit was like, okay, Wizards, Pioneer's going to be a thing, and it's people are excited. It's got a lot of buzz. So if you're going to just start adding 20 cards a month to Arena, for now, you don't have to make a long-term commitment. Just keep them Pioneer legal. Give us 10 good cards from Pioneer and do that 4 times a year. And eventually, because that's the thing, there's 260 some cards in a set. How many are we really playing? 5, 10, 20? So you could add the cards that are good, leave the stuff that's meant for limited, for sealed, for draft, give us the good cards, those meaty cards, make us pay for them, get extra money, and then maybe in 5 years, we basically have Pioneer on Arena. And you didn't have to release 20 sets. Like, if you're going to add extra cards, which as we discussed, seems like a good idea, do it like this. And like JC suggested, the beta testing thing, you have all of Pioneer, everyone who plays that format, beta testing your Arena format. So you don't have to go fast, but just let's not jam legacy cards into Historic yet. Let's take it slow.
With the explicit notice that you are playing in a beta, these cards may not make it to life.
And you don't even, so they could do that, but even if you let's say you let Pioneer go for 6 months, we ban some cards, and then on Arena, we add some of the cards that we aren't going to ban in Pioneer in there. And then we don't even need to tell people on Arena we're beta testing, because we have everyone who's playing Pioneer beta testing for Historic.
Right.
So I understand that you can't, you wanted Historic to be big enough. Part of me was a little annoyed, and this is petty because I'm an Arena guy. I really like Arena, and I want a good non-rotating format. I'm like, you could have cut it at Kaladesh or something, and then we would have had all those cards ready for Arena. But they wanted Pioneer to be a good, healthy format. They didn't say, oh, it'll get us more Arena money. We're going to make this format, which I think is commendable. But we could get that on Arena slowly, and if you're already going to add cards, why don't you just add the cards we want you to, like, that are going to be good in this format anyway. So we get to play with high-powered cards. We get to change it up. And someday, someone on Arena's like, well, I love Historic. And they're like, well, it's basically Pioneer. Welcome to Pioneer. I don't know. This just seems like and you don't have to commit. You don't have to tell us you're doing this. Just don't release non-Pioneer cards for a year. See what happens.
Well, one of the things
Well, I think being clear about what you're doing is probably important.
Well, you could say we're considering this. We don't know exactly what we're doing. They are telling us nothing about Historic. We don't know what's happening. Yeah. So, like, you could say, we're going to try to do this for now. And if it doesn't work out, or people get annoyed and says this format is too much like this, or we want something weird, then give us something weird for Historic. But I think you're at a very unique window of where these things could overlap. You haven't put anything in Historic on Arena yet. And so you just don't mess it up yet. Just don't go willy-nilly brainstorm crazy pants. Give us some cards that have come out since Ravnica, which are a lot less powerful than the cards in Modern, that we are missing some real format-defining cards. We don't have Path to Exile. We don't have Snapcaster Mage. We don't have some really powerful cards in Pioneer, which is going to give us
Path to Exile.
I wanted to say Deathrite Shaman, honestly.
We effectively don't, but that's
because it's legal in Pioneer.
It's legal in Pioneer.
It's a legal card to play
and
in Pioneer.
It's probably fine in Pioneer.
Yeah, there are no fetch lands.
Not good ones. Not good. I mean, if you want to turn to,
if you want to play Terramorphic Expanse, obviously I think Fable Passage is good enough for Pioneer. But if you want to play Terramorphic Expanse for Evolving Wilds, then clearly you wanted it more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just how it is.
Deathrite Shaman was not scary in Standard.
It says you. I was playing Control. That card was super.
It didn't need to be banned.
People were playing it in the main deck, and it was just an absurd mise against Snapcaster Mage because they knew you were on Snapcaster, and they knew all they had to do to stop you from playing it was, hey, look at my black source and my Deathrite Shaman.
We're talking about it enough. We probably have to say what it is. The Deathrite Shaman is a 1/2 for a hybrid green-black. So for 1/2 for 1, that you can tap and exile a land from your graveyard and make a man of any color.
And it is the first and only 1-mana planeswalker.
People have called it the
That's
1-mana planeswalker.
That's a
It
dangerous
has
card.
too many words on it to be bad.
Yeah.
And yet,
Second time I point that out.
yeah, a lot of generally
It's not
speaking.
wrong.
So that card's banned in Commander, right?
No, it's fine in command. It's not a problem in commander. It is banned in modern. It's in legacy and it is format.
banned in legacy.
That's
It is
right.
banned in legacy because that card is stupid.
They
good
banned it in
with
modern, and then everyone was playing it in legacy, and then they banned it because the other thing it does more stuff. You could pay green and 2 and tap it, exile a creature from any graveyard and gain
Just green.
just 1 green.
Yep. Just green. Just black. And
It's just
nothing
1?
for mana. Yep.
My
it's
God,
just
okay, 1 green.
It is. That card is banned in legacy.
That 1 card in green and tap
It's just 1 mana to do it.
exile
Really
a creature,
good.
gain 2 life, and then the black is exile non-creature.
Yep.
Non-creature,
it is an
non-land.
instant or sorcery.
Instant or sorcery. Deal 2 damage to each opponent loses 2
Target
life.
player loses 2.
Target player loses 2 life. It's real good. Again, it's real good.
I'm honestly not 100% sure if it targets or if it's every player.
Every player.
It feels like it probably doesn't target,
Yeah.
but I'd need to look that up.
Card's real good, and so
good.
So it's in Pioneer, but without fetch lands, it's a 1/2 for 1 that has graveyard hate. So maybe we see a little play, but it's not coming down on turn 1 and accelerating us out into turn 3 on turn 2.
There may be a deck for Deathrite Shaman at some point in Pioneer, but I think so long as you have better options for turn 1 mana dorks, and I'd argue that Llanowar Elves is probably good enough. I think Mystic Elves is what we have for that.
Well, we have Llanowar too. He was a Numenera.
Oh yeah, we do. Well, we have both. We have
We have
all
and
these
Arbor
elves.
Elf. We have Arbor Elf?
Do
We don't have Arbor Elf. He was no.
We
This
really
is-
need to look these cards.
Yeah, this
up,
is
don't
yeah.
we?
You got everyone at home is yelling
yeah,
at their listening
Like,
with the
no,
answer.
It's every player.
Like I just keep assuming the Birds of Paradise is legal in Pioneer, and it probably isn't.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know when they printed that card
Ravnica.
last.
First time Ravnica. Nuh-uh, it's not in.
Oh goodness. All right, yeah, that's. We don't get Birds of Paradise. That's a
So
shame.
we get 2 different Llanowar Elves at least, and we get
No
we get the Golden
The
Goose.
goose.
Which total side note. Apparently, so there's an old saying, "Bolt the bird," which is you use your lightning bolt to kill the turn 1 mana dork. Turn 1, generally a mana dork is a 1-drop creature with various stats that taps for 1 mana.
It
And
taps
lightning-
to net you mana.
So
And
you,
Lightning Bolt's a very quick card.
3 damage.
3 damage. Get off on turn 1.
yeah, 1 mana, 3
Turn one?
damage, best card ever. So you it won.
That's not true.
Okay, well,
because,
Can I tell
Birds
you
of
about-
Paradise exists.
Well, Birds of
Lava
Paradise.
sucks.
What if we got some kind of large-scale voting apparatus and had the community vote and see? Wait a minute, we did, and Lightning Bolt won. So
That-
you bolt the bird, but that is not my point because the new nomenclature is you bonk the honk.
Stop.
I was at a tournament and I played out on my Questing Beast deck, which is sweet. I will do a deck tech at it for some point. It's awesome. My brawl deck. I go turn 1 goose, and he goes. I bonk the honk, and I was thrilled.
Bonk
So
the honk.
you bonk the honk.
I'm really hoping then that when you get to use your goose to play something that you shouldn't, like when you get to play your turn 3 Oko, have people been saying the goose is loose?
If they're not, they should be.
Because I have. I certainly have been saying that.
So
Oh, man.
One note on the Elks, because this set has random ass animals that you make. There's
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
goat sacrifice, and then there's like random.
The goat is definitely for the troll that's underneath it.
Clackbridge Troll
Yeah.
makes
Yeah,
3
the-
goats because, of course, it does.
Because
Clackbridge
it
is even
makes
in the name of that
goats.
thing.
Clackbridge Troll.
And then Oko makes Elks.
Oko turns things into
Turns
elks.
everything
Turns food into elks.
He turns
which I
formats
feel-
into elks.
I feel like that elk was. I mean, the food might have been an elk before it was food. Like,
It might have been. It might
I
have
don't
been
know.
baked
I don't
into
know.
food, and then he's just returning it to its natural.
Oko's
form.
really
He's
into
a
turning people.
surprise necromancer. So
He's really into turning people into animals. It's
probably
it happens a bunch. Oh no, for sure it happens a bunch. It happens at least twice in the book. And he can also turn people into birds. So wait for that when we get our next Oko, which will of course cost 2.
Our birds, not animals.
This Oko will cost 2 and retroactively just be absurdly powerful in Chandelar. I mean, the one that we have right now is already good and vintage, so why not just
I'm a little
hack the PC game?
I'm a little salty. I'm a mono red guy, and it's frustrating when the best card in the freaking format just makes life gain tokens. And
Red
like,
deck wins.
Red deck, I know red's been really good for a
Yeah.
long time, and it's green's turn, but like, It really, the amount of incidental life gain in this set is frustrating and it makes me sad.
You had your chance, red player.
I did, and I played the hell out of Goblin Chain Whirler because that card was the nuts.
This is comeuppance. That's what this
This is. I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm paying. So you're saying
the goose and Oko.
Are you saying
so
that
much
Oko is my fault personally?
Yeah, actually, it's clearly your fault. I believe it's even part of the flavor tax.
You heard it here first, folks. I am to blame for Golden Goose and Oko. We're gonna have our guy put my address in the thing, so you can just come up and just hit me in the face.
Just mail him bricks.
Yeah, mail me bricks,
hand him bricks across his face when you see him in person.
Yeah, so we're gonna make that happen. So I'm so sorry, everyone. This is my fault. Okay, I think we are sufficiently off track. Okay, we got a little off track at the end there, but I feel like that's going to be inevitable. So
Hashtag Shahrazading.
yeah, hashtag Shahrazading, podcast within a podcast.
If at all possible, please send all of your Shahrazads to TCG University attention MTG Study Hall.
Yes, if someone wants to send us one, we will. We'll do something with it. I'll build a brawl deck and just use it, or we'll do some awful cube.
Can't play
would
in
in
Well, you
fact
can't play it in brawl.
Can't
but
play in EDH. I don't.
Well,
think
we'll do something terrible. If somebody wants to send
put
us a
it-
reserve list one,
You can put it in a top loader. Have it hanging in the background. You can eat it. You can eat the Shahrazad.
Oh,
you can
if
put
someone-
it in your mouth, chew it, and eat it.
if someone really
Don't
wants me
actually
to
do that.
if
Don't-
someone
don't do
wants
that,
me to
guys.
eat a $300 card, actually, I don't even. Morally speaking, I don't know if I can do that.
You can do anything
You
that you
can-
put your
yeah.
mind to, Brett.
Okay.
I would like to make Shahrazading though part of the lexicon, so like I would like millennials and younger generations to start saying it.
Who is your erotica friend? Can we get them to start using that in? Can we
if-
make that a sex term?
If
Let's-
Dr.
let's-
Chuck Tingle wants to watch this Magic the Gathering podcast, that would be great. I'm a huge fan. Shout out, he has a role-playing book in the Tingleverse. Again, he's not paying us. I'm just saying this for free because he's so great. But again, wow, super off topic. If no one else has anything else, we're going to wrap this up.
No more buzz marketing.
I think I do
okay?
actually. So
Okay.
Shahrazading.
Oh,
that makes sense. So we could be talking about role playing, and in the middle of role playing, your characters both decide they want to do some role playing. Mm-hmm. Shahrazading.
Shahrazading. Okay, we've got the
Heard it here
definition.
first, guys.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna be on Urban Dictionary. We're gonna be famous. This is our big break. So okay, thank you.
I like
All
how
for
Urban-
you, JC.
Urban Dictionary is the true measure of fame.
That we'll know it's real.
Goodness. It's
All right. Okay, so everybody, thank you so much. Have a good one. I think the plan is we're going to do this every week, so it won't be so long until this next one. So we'll see you. Maybe we'll see. It'll be a mystery. You'll have to show up and find out. So thank you so much for watching. Everybody, have a good time out there, and remember, click like,
click
yes,
subscribe.
yes. Tell people about this so we can keep doing this because this is awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good time out there, and wherever you are, whatever you're doing, make sure that you remember who you are. Thank you so much. Have a good one.